Welcome to Module 3, Section 5 of your California Contractor License Exam Prep Course. In this lesson, we'll focus on understanding and calculating board feet, along with making accurate lumber estimations. As a B2 residential remodeling contractor, lumber is one of the most commonly used materials you'll handle. From framing walls and building decks to constructing cabinets and trim, knowing how to calculate the amount of lumber you need and how it's sold is essential for creating accurate bids, ordering materials, and avoiding costly mistakes or waste. Let's start by defining what a board foot is. Lumber is sold in different units depending on its type and purpose, but hardwoods and many types of structural lumber are measured in board feet. A board foot is a unit of volume equal to a board that measures 1 inch thick, 12 inches wide, and 12 inches long. In other words, it's 1/12 of a cubic foot. This unit allows you to estimate how much wood is in a board and calculate the total volume for multiple pieces of lumber, even if they're different sizes. The formula for calculating board feet is straightforward. Board feet equals thickness in inches times width in inches times length in feet, divided by 12. For example, if you have a board that is 2 inches thick, 8 inches wide, and 10 feet long, you multiply 2 times 8 times 10 is equal to 160, then divide by 12 to get 13.33 board feet. This formula works for each piece of lumber, and you add up the board feet for all pieces to get a total. Understanding this calculation is important because lumber suppliers price wood per board foot. If you know how to calculate board feet, you can verify supplier quotes, compare prices across materials, and budget more accurately for your projects. Without this knowledge, you risk underestimating costs or ordering too little material. When estimating lumber needs for a project, start by calculating the total linear footage required. For framing a wall, determine how many studs, top plates, and bottom plates are needed based on wall length and stud spacing. For example, if you're framing a 20-foot wall with studs placed 16 inches on center, you calculate the number of spaces. 20 feet times 12 inches per foot equals 240 inches. Divide 240 divided by 16 is equal to 15 spaces, meaning 16 studs, one more than the number of spaces. Then add plates and any extra studs for corners or openings. Converting this total into board feet lets you determine the overall volume of lumber required. Waste factors are also important when estimating lumber. Wood is rarely perfectly straight or free of defects, and cuts during construction create scrap. It's common to add 5 to 15% extra lumber to your order to account for unusable sections and mistakes. Experienced contractors know their waste factor based on the project type and include it in their estimates. Another consideration is nominal versus actual dimensions. Lumber is sold by nominal sizes, like a 2x4, which doesn't actually measure 2 inches by 4 inches. A standard 2x4 is typically 1.5 inches thick and 3.5 inches wide. When calculating board feet or project requirements, you should use the actual dimensions for accuracy. Using nominal sizes can lead to underestimating material volume and cost. Lumber also comes in different grades and species, affecting both cost and quality. For example, framing lumber is less expensive and graded for structural strength, while hardwood used for cabinetry is priced higher per board foot. Knowing how to calculate board feet allows you to compare different wood options and make informed choices for your projects and bids. Board foot calculations also apply when cutting lumber from larger stock. For example, if you're buying a hardwood plank that is 1 inch thick, 6 inches wide, and 8 feet long, it's 1 times 6 times 8 divided by 12 is equal to 4 board feet. If you need 100 board feet of this wood for a project, you know you'd need about 25 of these boards, 100 divided by 4. This makes ordering more precise and avoids delays from running short or overspending on excess wood. Being able to calculate lumber requirements accurately also helps you communicate clearly with suppliers and clients. When you can show clients exactly how much material is needed and why, they're more likely to trust your estimates. Suppliers also appreciate working with contractors who know their numbers, reducing misunderstandings about orders and deliveries. Finally, the CSLBB 2 exam includes questions on board foot calculations because this is a practical skill every contractor needs. Expect to see problems where you must determine the total board feet of a given set of boards, or calculate the amount of lumber required for a specific section of a project. Practicing these calculations now will make you faster and more accurate both on the exam and in real-world projects. In summary, a board foot is a standardized measure of lumber volume, and knowing how to calculate it ensures you can accurately estimate material needs, verify supplier pricing, and prepare reliable bids. Combined with knowledge of nominal dimensions, waste factors, and project requirements, mastering board foot calculations is an essential part of running a successful residential remodeling business.